I'll eat anything. I don't give a crap. I'll
Right.
sit there and eat it. But unless it's fish, and then I just physically can't.
Fish jam on the next
If
episode of Flavor Savors.
Welcome to the Flavor Savors, a podcast where two donuts talk about a bunch of schnitzel. Here are your hosts, Mike and Dick.
What's up, Tannerheads? Welcome to the January 28th, 2022 edition of the Flavor Savors. I'm Dick.
Yeah, and I'm Mike, and on this episode of Flavor Savors, we're going to be putting the flavors of jams and jellies against one another, pitting them head to head, specifically ones that we have made.
I brought along some of my favorites that I've made here. I got a blackberry mint. I got the cherry brisket. And if you guys watched episode 2, you didn't think it could have been done or it was going to be disgusting, but we did it. I got cheese jam.
Cheese jam, baby. I'm really excited about that one.
It
Not even
needs
going to lie.
pectin. This is the very first recipe of cheese jam. It's a little bit loose, but
It's the
cheese
primer.
jam. Yeah.
Cheese jam primer. Love it.
We got chunks of Gouda in there. We're gonna talk about these.
So I've got some things. I'm going to start with something that we're not actually going to be discussing here, but we've talked about the pear preserves that we've made before. That's syrup straight from pear preserves that we didn't have enough pears for, but man, I can't wait to
So
open
thick
that
it's
one.
almost already jelly.
It is almost jelly, man. I feel like if we put it in the fridge, it'll be the perfect consistency for spreadable jelly. But speaking of jellies, we've got pepper jelly that was made with jalapenos and bell peppers. We've got some peach jelly that we made from the skins and pits of peaches that we use for peach salsa. We have got peach jalapeno jam, and this stuff is the perfect consistency as far as I'm concerned. It's got a real good peach flavor
You
and a
can't
little
see in the
backbite of
cam, but
jalapeno.
I can tell that is a gorgeous yellow color with just little
It
hints of
really
green
is.
in there.
It really, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you can really tell. There you
Yeah,
go.
there it is.
Yeah, that's
That's
beautiful.
pretty.
It's delicious, man. And then we've been talking about things other than just jams and jellies. The apple onion chutney that we made. This stuff, talking about the way things look, this doesn't look very appetizing. It looks very brownish gray, but let me assure you, this stuff is absolutely delicious, especially on pork chops.
Yeah, not
You ever
everything
had
you
like,
make is gonna look gorgeous,
no,
but
it
it will
doesn't. It
taste
doesn't always.
gorgeous.
As an accoutrement, it doesn't really matter what it looks like because you've got the rest of the plate to make it look good. But just sitting there in the jar, it looks disgusting. But here is the pièce de résistance. I just made this the other day. Bacon jam. That stuff is thicker than a Snicker, baby. And it is so good. We're actually going to have a video about me making that on the Southern Dreams Homestead YouTube channel, and also a blog post with the actual recipe if you're interested with that. Those links will be in the description.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
I want to start this episode off thanking a few people. Thank you, Moonraccoon, for your intro music that started on episode 2. Thank you to David for the intro announcements. Thank you to DJ for the outro announcements. Thank you again to Jon for that outro music. It's more than just me and Mike working on things.
Yeah, we got us a little crew together here.
We got a few people that come in and help us do a couple things, and I just wanted to say thank you for making this dream of ours part of your dream and a reality for us. So
yeah, thanks for helping us push it into the realm of reality. Yeah, absolutely. We've made a lot of contacts through the years, and these are some really special people to us. And the fact that they've helped us to get the podcast out to you guys means even more to us. So thank you guys very, very much.
Well, I've told a couple people like, oh yeah, we got Moonraccoon to do the intro for us, and like from the one who did the Outpost Zero music, I'm like, yeah, that one.
Yeah, she's
Like,
done. She's an independent artist, but she's also done video game music. She's done a little bit of everything. She's very, very talented in the music realm. And when I reached out to her and said, "Hey, can you do us some music?" And she's like, "Absolutely." And just within a few days, she had us the intro that you just heard at the beginning of this episode. So thank you, Mooney.
yeah, we recorded a few episodes in advance, so we had the music when we were editing episodes, but not when we were recording it, so we didn't give the proper shout outs to everyone. So I just wanted to start
Right.
this episode by saying thank you to all of you guys. You're much appreciated. Also, thank you to the
Very
watchers
much.
and listeners. I appreciate you
Yeah,
guys being here.
the first episode, as far as YouTube numbers goes for a brand new channel, we did really well. Very quickly too, by the way. And we know, of course, a lot of it has to do with people that we know wanting to see what we're doing new. And we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you spread the word, let everybody else know, share the video, throw it up in some Discords on your social media, stuff like that. And let's get the word out so Flavor Savors can get even bigger and better, because the more people we have listening, the more stuff we're going to do.
Now, you guys are probably tired of hearing us talk about that stuff. Let's get into jam.
Yeah.
Look at
Starting with this bacon jam. Oh my gosh.
the first jam I did was Blackberry mint. We talked about it in episode 1 because I had already made it by then. It's
All right.
pretty.
I can't wait to try that. That looks delicious. So what's when it comes to the flavor profile on that, you said there's like a hint of mint on the back end, or what?
Yeah. It is full frontal blackberry. For you audio listeners, I just put a mouthful of it in there. I don't like mint or blackberry, so right now the only thing I'm tasting is just solid blackberry. And now slowly in the back of my palate, the mint's starting to come through. And just like that, the mint's gone.
Wow. So literally just a hint of mint.
Yeah. Well, because I hate mint. It tastes like toothpaste to me, so I wanted to be able to eat some of this without ruining it for me. So I didn't put a lot. And the mint's back for a second time. That's weird. Oh, it's because I'm getting seeds out of my teeth. That's why.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those seeds, man. Blackberry seeds, berry seeds in general. When you make a jam or something like that, and you use berries, those seeds will hold on to flavor big time. Like that, like you said, you clear a seed out from between your teeth, and you'll get almost the entire flavor profile of what you ate just in that one seed. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is that is full on sugar and blackberries.
Sugar and blackberry.
Yeah. And I got some plastic spoons so I could show off some of these colors. If you're just listening,
man.
you need to go to YouTube and check this out because it is pretty.
That's absolutely gorgeous.
That's almost a paint
Absolutely
color.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the serious jam that's in the room here. I said jam twice on purpose.
Jam.
You'll figure out why. But let's talk about yours for a second.
Oh, the bacon jam.
Yeah, because there's from what I understand, I got blackberry and sugar and mint, and those are my flavor profiles. You got a few more than that.
Oh yeah, let me read you the list of what I've got in here. So this one batch made 7 quarter pints. Next time I do it, it's definitely going to be a bigger batch. But I did bacon and onion, garlic, brown sugar, a half a cup of bourbon. And when I was telling Dick about this, he's like, "Don't send me any because we won't eat it." He doesn't like the taste of alcohol. His wife it makes her sick. I'm going to send him some anyway because as I cooked this, the smell of bourbon initially was so strong. I'm like, man, there's no way I'm going to send him any. But as it cooked and continued to render down and reduce, the smell went away, and the flavor, if you taste it at all, it's a very small undertone note of this whole thing. But I also cut that with apple juice, a cup of strong coffee. And when I say strong coffee, I mean I did a half a cup on the strongest setting I could get, and then ran the same grounds through on the same setting to get the other half a cup. So it's going to be pretty strong coffee, and there is a good strong coffee flavor in there. Then I got smoked paprika, black pepper, and salt. If you want to see how that was made, like I said, the video is going to be on the Southern Dreams Homestead YouTube channel. But man, this is more like it's not as liquid. It's very, very thick, to the point that it's not, this part right here is not falling down as I'm holding it upside down. It's very much put together. And when you eat it, the first thing you taste is of course the bacon. But you get the coffee and the sugar. So it's basically like you're eating breakfast with one bite. But after a minute or two, you start really tasting the garlic. And the reason why I use the apple juice is because the bacon was applewood smoked. So I figured that would kind of lend a hint. And I'm actually getting just a little note of the apple, but the garlic and the bacon and the sugar and the coffee are what you taste the most. And when you're done, like there's coffee and garlic in your mouth. And I know that doesn't sound very appetizing, but I promise you, the aftertaste is good. Like you'll taste garlic for a while, and not in an overpowering way. It's very complimentary to the bacon and the other flavors. So I'm very, very impressed with the way this jam came out. And so is Jesse. And so is Mac. Oh my God, Mac tried it. His eyes got this big around. He's like, huh? Hey man, this is good. Then he starts going, this is how Mac is. Mac will go, you know, this would be good on. This would be good on this. This would be good on that. This would be good on this. I'm like, dude, this would be good on a cracker. I don't care.
Be good on a spoon.
It is good on a spoon.
Yeah, see,
I mean, the rest of this jar while we're sitting here talking.
The consistency of yours is kind of like what my cherry brisket came out to. Because I can put that on a spoon, and just like yours, we can sit here all day.
Yeah.
This was not in the fridge. This came straight
No,
out.
yeah.
The
bacon jam hasn't been in the fridge either.
It's not coming out.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. Although if you throw it,
But that's I think it's the reason why we're getting that. Like I said, I added some pectin to mine too, so I think I could pull that back and probably alleviate some of that. But
yeah. A lot of it has to do with the meat fat.
Yeah, that fat is just really holding everything in place.
I think you're right. You know, plays a big part in it. Let's talk about this apple onion chutney for a second, though. So, like I said, it doesn't look pretty, but you can see the onions. Again, if you're not watching on YouTube, for those of you who are listening to the podcast, make sure you check out this episode on YouTube as well, because we're showing you things, the way things look, and as we're describing how they taste.
Yeah, that at the end of every month will be more visual on the YouTube instead of just our faces. But
yeah, I mean, we'll still be talking,
yeah,
and describing everything, but there's definitely going to be some visual stuff to see. In fact, I think we're going to have some video footage from us making some of the jam and stuff in here as well. So
yeah, it'll be playing right behind us.
The apple onion chutney, it's almost like thick applesauce with onions in it, and you're tasting more apple than anything, but the onion is definitely in there. When you put this stuff on a pork chop, I can't even begin to tell you how much it enhances the flavor of the pork chop itself, because you already put onions on pork chops sometimes, and a lot of people put applesauce on pork chops. So when you put this apple onion chutney on there, you're getting the best of both flavors, and it's all in one. It is superb. I can't tell you enough about how good it is.
And here's something that a lot of people don't realize about onions is Onions have a little bit of a flavor, and when you cook them, they become a little sweet, so a little bit more flavor comes out. But man, onions will hold any flavor you put around them. They are a vessel for
Yeah.
flavor. So I
Let me.
guarantee every piece of onion in there tastes like apple.
Oh yeah. It definitely tastes like onion, but it definitely
Yeah,
tastes like
yeah,
apple as well. Like you can pull out just a piece of. You could probably take a strand of that onion and wipe it down and eat it and still taste the apple.
yeah. Onions are
Talking about
really
onions
good for
though,
holding flavor.
not trying to get off on a tangent, but you talking about the sweetness of onions. As you caramelize onions, you definitely get that sweetness. Let me tell you what else does that? Dehydrating it. We had a bunch of onions and we dehydrated like five or six trays, and I'm talking about trays this big around of sliced onions, and put them in a mason jar and vacuum sealed the mason jar. The other day I was messing around. I went, you know what? I want to throw a little something different into. I can't remember what it was I was cooking, and I threw some of those dehydrated onions in there. But before I did, I just tasted the onions, and you could sit and eat those like a snack, man. They're sweet, but they still got that onion bite. Oh, they are really good. The crispy, crunchy, easy to chew. They're not like you start chewing it and it rehydrates and gets like rubbery or anything. It's so good. So if you've got a dehydrator or if you don't, dehydrate some onions. You can do that in the oven on the lowest oven setting, with the oven cracked open just a little bit and just let it go for 3 or 4 hours or more. It's really good. Try it. Try it sometime.
I got this brisket cherry jam here that I made. I was just showing off a little bit. I had smoked a whole brisket in applewood, and I had pieces of it when we were talking about this, and I thought, hey, I don't even have to smoke a brisket to do it because I already have it,
Oh,
and
it's
I
so
already
good.
had it sliced too. So I have it sliced at about I think it's like a 16th of an inch thick,
Mm,
and then I chop that up and I put it in a pan to render the what little bit of fat was left in it out.
right.
And once I got that fat rendered out, I added my cherry and apple juice to it, and just to infuse the brisket with those flavors. Apple juice being just a vessel to carry the cherry juice because I needed more juice. I just didn't
Right.
have enough juice with my cherries after I let them
It'll
sit.
give a little sweetness to it too.
Yeah, and then I cooked all that liquid out so that the only thing that was left was my meat and the flavor. And then
Mm,
that's when I started the process of making the jam, where you add your fruit, you mash it up, you
right.
add your liquids, you're packed in, you let that start to come to a boil. As soon as it does, you add your sugar, you stir that up, you let that come to your boil, 220. This is where
Mm.
we're at.
See, now you're talking about doing temperature wise. I just do mine based on visual stuff, and I don't think I've ever used a candy thermometer. But if you guys are new to jelly making, go get you a candy thermometer. Keep it around 220. Don't let it get over 220 because it'll start breaking uh, some of the stuff out that you need to keep in there.
Yeah.
Specifically the pectin, it'll start breaking down the pectin. See, I think you're talking about brisket. I think something that might be good on brisket, and this is going to be kind of a stretch, would be this peach jalapeno jam. It's it's very peach forward, but the jalapeno taste on the back end of it. Actually, you know what? I take that back. It's very peach forward, but you automatically get the flavor of jalapeno in there as well.
Yeah, this one, this cherry that I just took a bite of, as soon as I put that in my mouth, it was brisket. That is not how it presented when I first made it. That is strange. I made a little more just so I can.
We use this peach jalapeno jam for like when we do charcuterie boards at like Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and stuff. We put that on there with cream and cheese and crackers. It's really good.
Look at the
Oh
meat
yeah, little
candied.
chunk of brisket,
Yeah,
dude.
it
Mm.
candied the cherry.
Well, we're talking about peaches. I got this peach jelly, and we were talking. I think we are talking what last episode, maybe 2 weeks ago, talking about using all the parts of food and making stuff out of it. So we made a peach salsa, and where we peeled the peaches and cut it up and made the peach salsa out of that. but we took the peels and the pits and boiled them and made a peach juice and made the peach jelly out of that. You see how clear that is? It's super clear. There's no chunks, and it is perfect jelly consistency. It's a very mild peach flavor. Like, it's not an overwhelming peach flavor, but it's definitely, you can tell what it is by putting it in. It's delicious. It's delicious. That go good on a biscuit, bro.
Yeah, this cherry jam, it's like I said, when you take the bite, the first thing you taste, the smokiness went away. It was real strong when I first made it, but it's went away. Now it's just you taste that brisket, and then the cherry punches you in the mouth, and then
I
it
think a
ends
lot of that
on
has to do
brisket.
with just, yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with just the longer food cooks or the longer food sits, the flavors marry together. That's why you
Yeah,
find a lot of people cook things like chili and stews and stuff like that. Once it's done and they're finished adding ingredients to it, they'll still cook it for another 2, 3, 4 hours and let
days.
all those flavors marry.
I'll cook my chili and my red sauces for days, man.
Yeah,
Super low and just stir it once every 2, 3 hours.
I had to take some of this pepper jelly too. Again, very very clear like the peach jelly, but it is all pepper and it's not hot. When I talk about this pepper jelly, it's not hot. If there's any spice to it whatsoever, it's extremely mild and it's just on your tongue. It doesn't get into your throat. And that's oh, I please try some pepper jelly. Go to your store, contact a friend, leave me a comment. Maybe I'll do a drawing for some pepper jelly sometime. But try it. It's not at all what you think it is. If you've ever tasted a jalapeno and it's not been a hot one, you just get that flavor. It's just that, but sweet. And I can't tell you, the first time we ever tried it, I was amazed at just how delicious it is without being overwhelmingly hot.
Yeah. I love green pepper jams and jellies, or bell
Yeah.
pepper, because I love the flavor of bell pepper. And when you get it like that, that's all that shines through is just that freshness of bell pepper.
When I send you the bacon jam, I'll send you a jar of this as well as
Nice.
you taste it. Probably some peach as well, because we've got a few jars of that in there too.
Now, so far this has been setting. I'm trying to see. I've been running experiments on this cheese jam that we've invented, and it's been setting so I could see if I could send it to you. Man, I don't like this stuff at all. Well, let's eat a mouthful of it. It's very sweet and very cheesy. I don't like it.
Sounds confusing. Sounds confusing.
And it's chewy at the end because of the chunks of cheese.
I thought you said you liked that though.
On toast, it's good.
Oh, it's good on toast.
If
It's
I
not
just eat
good
a
just off
spoonful
spoon.
of it, man, it's sweet and cheesy. Those are weird combinations.
What kind of cheese did you use? You used Gouda, right?
Oh, sorry, I have to. It's in my beard and mustache. Yeah. What I did is I made cheese sauce. I used heavy whipping cream and a roux, and I got my when I made my roux, I cooked it for an extended period of time so that my flour would brown to bring the nuttiness of the flour out. And I do
Right.
this sometimes when I make a cheese sauce with a more sharp or a better tasting cheese. It just helps bring that cheese sauce to the front.
Right.
And after I made that roux, I added my heavy whipping cream, started getting that running, and then once it got hot, just a pound and a half of Gouda went in there. I made a big cheese sauce because I used it for dinner too.
So of the ones that you made, what is your favorite?
Oh, the one I can stand the most, the Blackberry.
Black, really?
Yeah, I don't
Over the
like any of
brisket?
them. Yeah, well, sweet and savory, man. I'd much rather have sweet and fruit than sweet and savory.
Understandable.
Yeah, sweet. That it's just such a turn off for me. Like as you see, I'll eat anything. I don't give a crap. I'll
Right.
sit there and eat it. But unless it's fish, and then I just physically can't.
Fish jam on the next
If
episode of Flavor Savers.
if I could eat it, I would, and I would just hate it. Cilantro tastes like soap to me. I'm one of those people. But
Okay.
if a Mexican restaurant puts cilantro on it, I almost called it soap because that's what it tastes like, on a taco, I'm not going to not eat that taco. It's just going to kind of taste soapy.
Cilantro doesn't taste like soap to me, but it's one of those flavors that can, if there's too much, it can very easily overwhelm a dish and ruin it.
Yeah. Well, like that green sauce that we were talking about on episode 2, I believe, that you've tasted of mine. That
Right.
has cilantro in it, and I will eat it. But when I make it for me, I don't put cilantro in it.
It's not. It's not an overwhelming flavor. It's the green sauce is really good though.
Yeah.
I gotta get
That's
that
a
recipe from you,
recipe
by the
that's
way.
been worked on for, I think, 4 generations. 2
How do you do?
generations of a Mexican family, and then 2 generations of my family. And when I say Mexican family, I mean they are from Mexico, so they are actually Mexican. Don't come at me with your hate.
Do you? I'm assuming you use tomatillos and not green tomatoes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The base is you take onions, tomatillos, and jalapenos, and that's it. If you want to make it how it's been made for the first 3 generations. And then it
Right.
got in my hands, and I was like, man, this needs a little something else. Because, well, and lime. I was like, it needs a different acid. I like the acid that's in there, but I want a different acid too. So I add a couple like Roma tomatoes, which you won't find in Mexico too much. So,
Yeah. That's more of an Italian kind of
yeah.
thing.
So it's never made it in there, but they're small and packed full of enough tomato flavor that it's perfect for what I wanted. And then I added a couple other a little extra salt. Instead of just black pepper, I use peppercorn medley.
Oh, I
So
got
it's
you. Yeah.
got red, it's got pink and white and black and green in it, and it's just a different flavor. Sometimes I'll use elephant garlic instead of regular garlic, so it's a little mild flavor on the garlic. It doesn't get that punch.
And that's
But
not actually a garlic, right? We've talked about that before.
yeah, it's not. But it it,
It's actually
it
an
has
onion.
a slight garlic flavor.
Right.
So it works good as a garlic substitute when you want that garlic flavor, but you don't want to just punch it in like that. Because garlic, man, sometimes you put it in something that has to cook that long and it just punches you right in the face.
Well, the good thing about the green sauce is it's not like there's no one flavor that dominates over the tomatillo. You get the spice from the jalapeno, but not very much. At least the last batch that I tried
Yeah.
that you brought when we were in Tennessee. But the cilantro, like I can't taste the cilantro, but I'm sure somebody like you that has that cilantro tastes like soap gene. I'm sure that you can taste it. If there's one leaf in there, you probably taste a little bit
Oh,
of
yeah,
soap.
100%. Well, and the biggest trick to my green sauce is I start with olive oil in the pan and the garlic and the onions go in. And you got to kind of chop because you're going to blend it all up with a emulsion blender. So you got to get your onions chopped up a little bit, but you
Right.
brown off all that. That's why sometimes it'll come out looking really bright green and sometimes it'll come out looking brown. When it looks
Right.
brown, that's when it's going to taste better because I put the extra
Yeah.
work into it. When it looks green, that's when I needed it to look better.
Right.
Some people are
Well,
like, oh,
you
that looks brown. I'm like, yeah, that's the good kind.
well, here's the thing though. Usually the ones that are super bright green are not cooked. They're just if they're cooked, they're not cooked very much. They're more raw than anything.
Yeah,
Because
see,
you can do that with any kind of like with the peach salsa that we made. We cooked it and it dulled the flavors, but you don't have to cook it. So it really depends on what you're going for. Are you going for a good look and a fresh flavor, or are you going for a deeper flavor and don't really care what it looks like?
yeah, see, and there's a lot of times I just want that deep flavor, so it'll go in a pot for hours with. Because once I get the brownness on that, then I put like 3 pounds of tomatillos in, 3 pounds of jalapenos in, 2 Roma tomatoes, like a big handful of
Right.
cilantro, and then I just put a lid on it and walk away for a couple hours.
Well, it's like the bacon jam. It literally looks like dirt. It looks like liquid dirt because it's so dark and so brown. I
Well,
probably could have left this, like, not cooked it as much, because the way I did it is when I cooked it, I cooked the bacon, pulled that out, reserved some of the bacon grease, and then cooked the onions until they were almost caramelized. Added the garlic, stirred that around for a minute or so, and then threw the bacon back in and put the brown sugar in with it. Let that cook for just a few minutes, and then poured the liquids into the coffee, the bourbon, and the apple juice, and let that simmer for a while. And once it started to reduce, then I threw the spices into the salt, the pepper, and the smoked paprika, and let that just boil down and boil down and boil down until it was a consistency that I wanted. So I could have probably backed that up another 15 or 20 minutes and not cooked it for that long, because after that it went into a pressure canner for 75 minutes so that I would get a good seal. This is one of those things it's not recommended to be canned, and I'll talk about this a little more in depth in the video that I've got on the YouTube channel. But I'm doing what's called rogue canning. That's where you do stuff that's not necessarily on the approved list, but it's sealed. And this is, like I said, this has been sitting out since I made it the other day, and it's fine. So I'm not concerned with it at all.
I do a lot of rogue canning too. You just got to know what you're looking for when you open up a jar or something. As soon as you open up a jar, usually you can tell if it's bad. Also, when the seal is pushing out, usually you can tell that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and here's why a lot of people frown so hard on rogue canning, because if you don't know what you're looking for and you don't know proper methods for canning,
You can kill yourself and others.
botulism is a real thing. And that's a lot of the reason why bacon is not recommended for canning, is because it's so dense. It's such a dense meat that when you can it, the temperature doesn't necessarily penetrate all the way through the entire jar and in through the meat and stuff. But with the bacon jam, not only did I use thin cut bacon, but I also put it through a food processor, and I use a small jar. So I am not at all concerned about botulism in this. I could probably leave one of those under the bed for 6-7 years, open it up and eat it with zero worry.
Also, with your rogue canning, a lot of people don't go straight from pot to canning. You probably went straight from pot to canning, so it went in hot. So,
well, I let it cool some first, but yes, it was still good and warm. The jars were warm and stuff like that. Sometimes rogue canners don't do that.
yeah.
But we're actually, I don't want to talk too much about, I don't want to get too in depth on the canning process, because we're actually going to do, I think, an episode on canning specifically, and talk about some of the methods that we've used for canning and some of the things that we've canned together. But some of that rogue canning has to do with reusing lids, and lids that, like, you get off of a jelly jar from the store, using stuff like that. Man, a cheese jam. He's just over there. For those of you not watching, you're just listening on the podcast. He's just letting the cheese jam drip off the spoon, and it just looks like cheese sauce, on the screen.
Oh yeah, but it's so see-through.
It's a very jam-like quality.
Yeah,
Who'd have thought, man? Who'd have thought about cheese jam except for us?
I don't know. And not only that, but then immediately after running our mouths about it, just go and do it.
Have
And
any of
then-
you, for those of you who are listening or watching, have you ever, leave us a comment somewhere on our social media or on the YouTube video or wherever, have you ever eaten any kind of sweet cheese sauce? Now, I'm not talking about like a cheesecake. I'm talking about like a sauce that's on something that's sweet. If you have, let us know, and let us know, was it at a restaurant? What kind of dish was it? Who made it? Give us all the details, because we're interested, because honestly, I think we just invented something new. And when I say we, I mean basically Dick invented it. I just
Yeah. Okay, that's like saying
I encourage the stupidity.
Leonardo da Vinci didn't invent anything that he just thought of. I mean, come on.
But I didn't
clearly
make it.
thought of the idea, and I was like, actually, I could probably do your idea.
I could probably do that.
That's like saying engineers are the ones who invent everything. No, they just figure out the logistics.
They just figure out how to do it.
Yeah. You're the inventor. I'm just the engineer.
I'm the inventor. You're the creator. Or I'm the originator and you're the creator.
Chunks of cheese and weirdness, and
it looks oddly delicious.
It looks oddly odd.
It looks oddly odd, yes. It's like a bunch of cheese curds just fine. I'm very interested to try it.
Yeah. Like I said, if it holds up, then I'm gonna pop tops on it and send it to you unsealed.
I'll leave it sealed, man.
Well, none of them are sealed. Because I didn't think I was going to send it to you, but then I was like, I'll just leave one out and see how it goes. If in a week it still tastes all right, then I'll send you one.
if it still tastes good and is not moldy and curdled beyond belief.
If it doesn't taste horrible in a week, then you'll get one, because then I'll know, it's going to get there in at least a week, so we'll be good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I'm definitely going to send you some of this bacon jam, and I'll send you some peach jelly and some pepper jelly. And I don't know what else I've got in the smaller jars in there, but I'll send you some of that stuff. If you guys are interested in trying some of this stuff, we'll get, we're actually working on, spoiler alert, on a website, and it is it's based on WordPress. I had to say that because there's somebody listening right now that hates WordPress, but I had to say it. Anyway, so we're working on a website, and the recipes, we'll have the recipes on there. There's actually some recipes, or there will be some recipes on the Southern Dreams Homestead website as well. So just make sure you're paying attention to everything everything that we're doing, because we will push out some of this stuff, and we might even one day have a Patreon where you can win some of this stuff.
I was about to say, I'll let you in on the back end of our thinking. Even we were talking about putting a Patreon together where some of these recipes, like this cheese jam recipe, would only appear on the Patreon through a paywall.
Yeah, because
making cheese jam isn't free, guys.
It's not free. It
costs a lot of Gouda.
Jam, it's also not free. It costs a lot of cheddar, baby. Yeah, making the bacon jam is not cheap either. It's
making the bacon jam.
And like I said, I got 7 of these quarter pint jars out of the batch that I made the other day, and that was 2 packs of bacon.
I got 4 of these out of the cheese, and then I got 12 each out of these Jimmy's.
Yeah.
Little quarter pints.
In order to make a big batch of this bacon jam, I'd probably have to use 10 pounds of bacon.
Luckily, when I make brisket jam, I just already have 10 pounds of brisket.
Well, the good thing about that is that my stepson Mac is raising a pig for FFA, and it goes to slaughter probably next month.
The pig, not his stepson.
Right, yeah, the pig. The pig goes to slaughter.
The pig goes to slaughter.
The pig will go to slaughter probably February, late February, early to mid March, and we'll get all the meat from it. So all the hams and the pork shoulders, and even the trotters in the ears and stuff like that. We'll have all of that stuff. So we'll have the bacon.
Yeah, anyone who's never seen how much meat comes out of one butchered animal, even something you would think as small as a pig, it is, no matter what, it is always at least one standalone freezer full of meat. Always.
We're actually literally going to have to buy another freezer just to hold all this meat. So we've got to get the money together for the slaughter, and between then and the time the slaughter is done, because the slaughter doesn't, they're backed up. Like, this is pig season everywhere. So there's a lot of people going to be bringing their pigs in for slaughter. Depending on what number slot we get will depend on how long it'll take for us to get our meat back. So what they'll do is they'll slaughter the pig and then hang it in a freezer or in a cooler or whatever. And then when they get around to actually butchering it, then that'll be about the time that we'll be able to get our meat. So between the time we pay for butcher and pay and get the meat, we'll have to buy a freezer.
Yeah, and those things are not cheap.
Oh no. Facebook Marketplace is a good thing though.
Yeah, a lot of people make purchases and regret it later.
That's true too. That is true too. I don't care. Look, as long as it holds all the meat and the meat don't go bad, I'm down with it.
Yeah.
I don't care what it looks like. It could be rusted up from top to bottom, as long as the inside works.
You just need it to hold this one pig, and then you can get something else maybe.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I do a lot of, I just need this to hold up for 1 year purchases.
Yeah, just hold up. Well, and that's that's about how long that meat will last. It's about a year.
Yeah.
Bacon, sausage. I'm definitely gonna get them to do some ground pork too, because I wanna do some Asian dishes and some Italian dishes with that ground pork.
If you're listening and I'm shaking my head in disgust that this man just won't let me get him a goddamn meat grinder. It's
Get it,
killing
man.
me.
I don't care. Get it. I'll grind it myself.
Mhm.
That's what I was telling Jesse. Jesse's like, we were talking about the price of the butcher, and I'm like, well, if it's gonna cost too much to do the cured meats, we can cure it ourselves. We can do the bacon and the hams ourselves
Yeah.
because we've got a smoker. All we need is a bunch of salt and sugar, and that's easy to come by. So
Yeah. And a lot of
we can do
people
that.
don't realize just packing something in salt for a little bit does wonders.
You know what I was speaking of that? You know what I saw something the other day. There's a TikTok video actually that Jesse showed me, and I'd seen it before. Cured egg yolks. Take the egg and crack it and separate the yolk from the white, and bury the yolk in a bunch of salt and let it sit for a week, and then take it and rinse it off, and then dry it off and dehydrate it a little bit in the oven. You can take and shred that stuff like Parmesan cheese, basically, on top of salads or whatever dish you want to put it on.
So
And it's
what you're
instant
saying
protein.
is cured egg yolk jam. No, no. Unless you're doing it, no.
I might.
Oh,
we got
man.
to hook up for the eggs. We got a friend that their daughter does pigs with Mac, and they have 60 chickens. So they said, "Don't ever pay for eggs again. We'll bring you some."
Yeah.
Okay. We're
Fresh
actually
eggs are
hoping to
so
get
much better
chickens
anyways.
in this. Yeah, we're actually hoping to get chickens in the spring too. So we'll have some chickens ourselves. So
Nice.
cured egg yolks and possibly cured egg yolk jam is
Next
it's definitely
January, egg yolk butters.
egg yolk butters. Lord have mercy.
Ridiculous. We're disgusting. Why do
We're
all these
disgusting in the
episodes end in
best possible
disgusting?
way.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm very interested to see the cheese jam, but I think I'm most stoked about getting some of that brisket jam because we love smoked meats and brisket and cherries and stuff over here. So I'm sure that would be a big hit with the family because everybody liked the bacon jam. So why wouldn't they like the brisket jam, especially with the cherries?
It just
Dude,
smells like smoked brisket with a hint of cherry.
but it tastes like cherry with a hint of smoked brisket.
Pretty much. It's such a weird thing, and you can't really tell on the can, but maybe that little edge there. It's so red. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
It's such a deep red.
It looks delicious though, man. Oh my gosh. Because I know, and again, hold that up with a comparison to the bacon jam. So for those of you watching, there's the brisket jam and the bacon jam. Nope, I can't turn mine upside down for very long. But yeah, his is very red. Mine's very brown. But it's the point I was making is the taste of the bacon jam compared to the taste of the brisket. I don't know which I'm going to like better because
The bacon.
I don't know, man. I really do love like cherries and meat together. So I don't know. It might be a toss up.
And a lot of people
We'll have
don't
to.
know that those are almost the same cut of different animals.
Yeah.
Like the bacon's the belly and the brisket is the breast, and one's pig and one's cow. But man,
The
they both
very close
just
in texture.
very fat rich, very hard to chew meats until you cook them right.
Yeah. That's why typically they're smoked and cured to render out as much of the fat and as much of the toughness in them as you can get. since we're talking about the fact that bacon's kind of it's kind of a schnitzel cut, you know what I mean? Back in the day, you ever heard the term eating high on the hog?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have. The term comes from I can't tell you what time period, but it's eras gone by.
Yeah, eating shoulders and tenderloins, all
Yeah,
the
eating
upper
shoulders and
parts.
tenderloins right up on the backside, the back straps and stuff like that, which is tenderloin. Um, that's the primo cuts of meat, and it's where the most tender meat is. You start getting down closer to the trotters and the legs and the chest area, and it starts being more tough and gristly and stringy kind of meat. So eating high on the hog back in the day meant you were rich enough that you could eat the best cuts of meat, and the rest of the cuts of meat were used for like they were given to slaves or poor people or sold to people who couldn't afford the better cuts of meat, and they were put mainly in stews and smoked for long periods of time
Yeah,
to break down the toughness of the meat.
keep going to Alton Brown, but Alton Brown's one of his saying is the best cuts of meat are furthest away from head and hoof
Hmm.
because that's where the work part of the animal is. The head, they
Yes.
have to keep their head up, so all this is going to be tough, and anything around where they have to move in motion, that's going to be tough. So all the upper cuts, so the further you get away from all that stuff, the better the meat is.
Yeah. The less work done in a muscle, the more tender the meat's going to be.
Yeah. That's why humans would be disgusting because our whole upper torso works so hard to keep our upper body from falling over. So all this meat would be tough and overworked.
We just start talking about cannibalism.
Maybe. Is that allowed? Human Jam?
Only in certain countries.
I'm gonna make a Mike Toe Jam.
No, you don't want to do that. Athlete's foot is nasty. Gross. Oh my gosh. So what else? Now that we've run the gamut this month of jams and jellies and preserves and stuff like that, what's something that we haven't talked about that you're interested in trying or making or putting to a test?
Tell you something we have talked about that I haven't eaten before that I'm willing to put is and well we've talked about maybe putting it in on Patreon, but the garlic. I really
Yes.
want to make just a solid garlic. Um,
Yeah, and I'll tell you the garlic content that's in this bacon jam. Like I used about almost 2 pounds of bacon. There's 3 tablespoons of minced garlic in here, and it's got a very distinct yet mild garlic flavor. I believe that a strong garlic flavor in a jam will be interesting, but very very good.
well, and as much as this is wrong, cheese and sugar. As much as
Yeah,
this is not correct and it's weird, you do pair jams with cheese a lot. So a
yeah.
garlic jam spread across a piece of bread with some cheese melted on top of it, I guarantee my son would eat that every day for the rest of his life.
Oh yeah, Mac probably would too. I keep
Yeah.
talking about we're talking about our kids and our family and stuff like that. I don't mention Maggie a whole bunch because Maggie will literally eat anything. Literally, literally eat anything. Mac is not super picky, but when he finds something that he doesn't really care for, he's very adamant that he don't want to eat it.
Yeah. Bram will cry if I try to make him eat something that he doesn't like. He will eat everything except for the things that he doesn't like, and then if I'm like, no, you're gonna take a bite of that, he breaks down because he knows he doesn't like it, he doesn't want it, and I'm like, all right, I know you, I don't push him to do it, but if I ever
Yeah.
did, it would break him because he knows what he doesn't like, which
Well,
isn't very much. It's maybe three things.
Mac is the type that he'll sit down and go, "Oh, I don't like that," and then we'll say, "We have to eat it," and he'll eat it, and he'll be like, "That was good. I thought you didn't like it," and then the next time we have it, "I don't like that." Dude, the last time we had it, you said you didn't like it, and we told you had to eat it, and at the end, you said that was good. He's very particular. Like he would rather eat snacks. He's a teenager. He's a 15-year-old boy. He'd rather eat snacks than food, unless it's a food like sushi that he loves. So, like last night we had was it last night? I don't know. One night this week we had hamburger patty, ground steaks basically, and pinto beans and broccoli. And he ate the florets off of the broccoli and left the stems. And he's like, "I'm done." And Jesse's like, "No, you have to eat more than that." I said, "Tell you what, you can either eat half the beans and all the rest of the broccoli stems, or just all of the beans." And I don't know why the boy did this, but he ate all the broccoli stems and half the beans instead of eating all the beans. I'm like, he's like, "I don't eat the stems." I'm like, "Well, that's your options. Eat all the beans or half the stem, all the stems and half the beans." And he ate all the stems and half the beans. It was really weird,
Well, and the
but
funny thing is the
whatever.
way kids' heads work is because, yeah, you do actually eat the stems, because where do you think those florets are sitting on? You had
Yeah.
to have eat part of the stem. See, this is why I love my son, because my son hates calamari. He tried calamari, doesn't like calamari. If I told him he had to eat calamari, he would cry. you know, but he eats everything that, pretty much. Uh, you were talking about broccoli. That's my son's favorite food, literally.
Mm-hmm.
He will
Good.
eat it.
I love broccoli, dude.
Yeah, he'll eat pounds of it. If I made a broccoli jam, he would eat 38 pounds of that broccoli jam. No, yeah, here we go again. Why do I even open my mouth? What's the point of words even coming out of my mouth? I quit. This is
Broccoli jam.
cabbage
Dude, I
jam.
don't know,
Here we
man.
go. I'm
Carrot
making
jam.
now that I've made cheese jam, I'm making broccoli and cauliflower cheese jam.
Broccoli and cauliflower. Dude, like, why not make the cheese jam and just steam some broccoli and cut the florets up and just use literally just the tips
Okay,
of the
so
florets
here's the
in there?
thing. I've already made the jam, so why don't I just cut
Just
up some
mix it in there.
broccoli?
Yeah.
I'm just going to steam my son some broccoli and pour jam on it and see what he thinks about it.
He'll eat it. You know he
I
will.
guarantee he will. My son
You
doesn't
know he
care.
will. See, this is what I was trying to tell Mac the other day about the broccoli. I said, "Man, you eat the stems anyway." He's like, "No, I don't." I said, "Have you ever eaten stir fried at a Asian restaurant?" "Yeah." "Then you've eaten broccoli." Because a lot of times they'll take those stems and peel them and chiffonade them up or ribbon them up or whatever, cut them into little matchsticks and throw them in there.
I was just about to say, I talk a lot about being poor because it comes up with things like this. We never threw away the stems. You always peeled them and cut them.
Yeah. And they're good, man.
Yeah. Well, and you could even go like carrot style, where you just like slice the carrots on a mandolin.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have mandolins. I had a hand, but you can just and then
Yeah.
done in a stir fry, just like you were talking about, stuff like that. Always.
Yep.
Use every
Always.
part of the animal, even if the animal's plant.
A plant. Even if the animal's a plant. Yes. Oh, there's so many plants though that you can eat, flower to root. You can eat everything, fruit to root.
Except for cabbage. You damn Asian places, and I'm going to use the word this time. You always putting the heart of the cabbage in your egg rolls, and now it just tastes like the heart of a cabbage. Stop doing it. I hate it. When I make
because I like it, I don't care. I'll eat it. I really don't care.
When I make egg rolls, man, I cut the hearts out of my cabbage, and it makes the egg rolls taste so much better.
I mean, the heart of the Let me tell you something. When my mom used to make coleslaw for something, I would eat the heart of the cabbage. Like she would cut around it, and that I would eat that for a snack.
Here's a question: do you like horseradish?
Yes.
That's the problem. We figured out the problem.
Why is that a problem?
That's why you like the heart of the cabbage. It tastes like horseradish. It has a slight horseradish taste because I think horseradish is also part of a cabbage somehow. But that's why I don't like the heart of a cabbage, because it tastes like horseradish.
Horseradish is just a root, man.
Yeah, but I think it's like a cabbage ancestor. So many things are cabbage ancestors, man. So many plants came from cabbages. It's crazy. We got an episode about it later. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you guys are just joining us for the first time on the podcast, make sure you go back and listen to the other 3 episodes and continue to listen, because we've got a lot of really cool stuff coming up that we've alluded to in some of our past episodes, and we'll drop little hints and stuff here and there between now and the time that they come out. But I mean, let's just put it to you this way: I can't wait for December.
Yeah, December is going to be such a good month.
So yeah, we've got a tournament coming up, a bracket style tournament coming up at the end of December. We've actually started building the brackets, and we'll build on the brackets every month until we get to December, which is when that bracket tournament's going to be. And I won't go too much into what we're going to have on there, but it's something that you won't want to miss.
Not only that, but, you know, since we like just dropping hints and everything, to be honest, we like keeping you guys almost as informed as we are, even though we're going to be way more informed about it than you are because we're the ones building it. But we want to keep you guys here without telling you everything that's going on. But, man, we like to drop hints. We're going to need you guys for Apricot.
Yes, definitely.
The month of Apricot, we're going to need some of your recipes. Start thinking about it. If you're listening at this point, it's going to be fruit recipes. So anything fruit related.
Pictures, recipes, videos, anything you want to do, send it to us. We'll use it.
We're going to say more about it later, but, while we're dropping hints, let's drop hints.
Guys, if you've made it this far in the podcast, thank you very much for listening. We want you guys to tell us, first off, what's your favorite jam or jelly? Second off, of the ones that we've mentioned in this episode alone, which one would you most like to try that you've never tried? And third, if you've got a specific recipe for a jam or jelly that you make, share it with us. We would love to try it and make that a part of maybe our Patreon or some of our social media so that you guys can be as much involved in the podcast as you possibly can.
Yeah. Also, if you've made it this far, hopefully you've watched episode 1, 2, and 3, because we've talked about jams for a full month now. 4 hours of jam talk plus. So hopefully you've been enlightened on jam ideas and topics. Hopefully you got your own. Maybe we gave you some ideas like broccoli jam where you go out and you make it yourself before we even get a chance to do it, and then you become famous.
Do it.
Who knows?
What was the words I said that spurred you to make the cheese jam? I dare you.
No, the words you said that make me make cheese jam is, I wonder what would happen if you made cheese jam.
Yeah, but you said you were going to make it, and I said, I dare you.
Yeah.
So,
just the idea of cheese jam is what invented this monstrosity of weirdness here. And that's actual chunks of Gouda that I chopped up and froze. That way, when I put it into the hot cheese, it wouldn't melt and string. It would stay chunks of Gouda.
Yeah, it would stay little cheese curds, basically.
Yeah, little jam bits.
Oh,
it's just weird to watch.
So weird. Yeah, it looks so weird, but I'm really interested to taste it.
And the greatest thing about it is straight cheese colored. It looks maybe a little bit tan here, but it is so cheese color. It is super cheese color.
Well, guys, thanks for listening to the episode. For those of you who are watching on Twitch or YouTube, thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you are telling everybody about us. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcast, iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Twitch. Make sure you do all of that stuff. Interact with us as much as you can. Leave us as much feedback as you can, because that's how we know that we're doing what you want. And if you got something that you want to hear us do or see us do, by all means, leave us a comment. Let us know about that.
Tell us how much you like the format that we're running with here, the 4 episodes. Go on your social medias, hashtag January, hashtag TheFlavorSavors, hashtag all those things, you know. You know how to do the social medias. Let us know how you feel about us, because like us or not, we're not going away, so get used to us.
Oh, they'll like us. They like us. They really like us, and they're really going to like the bacon and cheese jam. Oh, bacon and cheese jam.
Give it to Mike. Mike will eat anything.
Yeah, I'll eat anything, man. That's where Maggie gets her taste buds from. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode. Take it easy. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Flavor Savors podcast. Be sure to follow us on our socials listed in the show notes below. We'll catch you next week with a brand new episode.